Hey, what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85. And tonight we should be joined in just a minute or two with Maria I don't know why I have trouble saying her last name. Delorenzo. Like, oh, God, Delorenzo. It's not that hard to say. It's not like it's a tongue twister.
Right.
So how's your week been?
It's been all right. We just got back from the store, so I had to hurry up and rush over to the computer and get everything turned on and going.
Right. Now you look a little blurry on my end. That's weird.
Really? Yeah, you cleared up. So, on my end, you cleared up, and apparently now I'm blurry. Oh, you froze completely.
Hello. Right, here she is.
Hi.
Hello, welcome. Whoa.
Thank you.
I saw that. I don't know what. Hi. We were having a little.
Our cameras are being weird. Sorry, we're trying to figure out. When I first came on, he was blurry. Now he's saying I was blurry. Now he's back to being blurry. So.
And then all of a sudden, they just screens went black. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. We can see you okay, so hopefully it stays that way. So know what's going on there. But anyway, so I just want to say thanks again for joining us. And I guess we'll start out. When you were growing up, what movies inspired you or what got you into acting? Did you do it throughout school or something later in life?
I started pretty early on. I would say that I did the whole drama thing. I was doing that as early as elementary school. And I smiled when you said what inspired me, because it's going to sound funny, but it was actually Beverly Hills 90210 that inspired me. Because it was my favorite show at the time. And I realized that was kind of my epiphany moment, that I realized that people actually got paid to be on camera and have fun, and it wasn't just random capturing of somebody walking around with a camera. So it was realizing that there was an opportunity out there based off of a television show that sparked my interest.
Right. And that was really popular too, like back in the 90s. It probably inspired a lot of 90s kids, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sure did. So who was your favorite character on it?
I was a Brenda girl. I liked her attitude. I liked her spunk. And then, of course, I mean, everybody liked Dylan just because it was Luke Perry.
Right.
Yeah, who couldn't like Luke Perry?
Yeah.
I never really watched it a whole lot, so I'm trying to
I remember watching a little bit of it. Was it Dylan's or the other one? I remember one of their dads died in an explosion or something one episode.
Yeah, that was Dylan. He always had a real dramatic storyline.
Yeah, that's something I would have to go back to. I don't really remember much of that, but I remember. And I can't forget though, that was the most dramatic of oh my gosh, his dad just blew up in the
that car. And it was when there was that one kid that ended up shooting himself, and that was like
wow.
And
yeah, I don't remember that show apparently was a lot deeper than I remember.
You definitely have to go back and watch some of those now. I forgot what I was going to say now. Okay, so besides 90210, were you into horror at all, or just more of a drama?
Yeah, I mean, based off of the time period, it was all Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, Child's Play. I will say Hellraiser, although that Pinhead character scared me to death, so I didn't really like watching those. And then as I realized that I liked that genre, then I started going back to the 70s and watching Poltergeist and Exorcist and The Shining, which are probably three of my all-time faves. I watch them all the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say that type, that slasher where things are kind of scary but also kind of funny. I like that genre of horror. When we started to get into the jump scares and things like that, I was not so keen, but that's only because I'm a wimp. So
What got you introduced into Wild Eye?
um well, that was all Jeff. So Jeff Kirkendall is somebody that I started working with while I was still in college. So I auditioned for him for his own films. And that started a friendship and a working relationship. And he actually uh, started getting involved with projects with Mark Polonia and brought me in. So that was that kind of whole connection. And it's funny how one little audition brought me very many other opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you brought up that's I was gonna say how'd you meet Mark, but I guess through Jeff there. So that I'll answer that question.
Yeah.
Since you brought up the Exorcist is one of your favorite movies, of course you were in Amityville Exorcism. So and there was quite a few moments that reminded me of the Exorcist. How was that? Did you take any like experience? Well, not experience. I mean, like inspiration from the Exorcist when you were pulling off the demon.
Yes, absolutely. I can't, there would be no Exorcist film, any of them, not just, the one that I was involved in. Any exorcism type film definitely bites off of that very first classic one. And yes, Linda Blair in her role was a huge inspiration of my Amy character. And you bring a little piece of yourself to it as well. It was kind of the not so pleasant side of me that I got to bring out, which was a lot of fun. So absolutely.
How long did that makeup take to do that demon for you?
It was hours. They did bits and pieces. So there's one part where I get burned with the cross on my forehead while I'm still kind of me. So they did that first. And then we shot those scenes. And then I went back and did the rest of the makeup. And I would say probably the rest of the makeup took at least an hour, if not two, to get fully on, because there was a lot to it. It wasn't just makeup. There was pieces that were added to my skin to create some scarring and some deep wounds that I hope are not present. But yeah, it took Anthony, actually. Anthony Polonia was the one who did all of that makeup. He did a fantastic job on that.
Yeah.
And, sorry. Sorry, I'm muting myself because he's playing music and I don't know if it's catching on the mic. So I'm trying to keep muted as much as possible.
Okay.
But, I was wondering, since we was talking about the Amityville exorcism, you had a pool scene where you kind of get dragged into the water. Was that really hard to do? Or?
It was, and the reason why I laugh is because of course we shot this in the summer, but I think we've found the one weekend in the summer that it was maybe, I don't know, I want to say maybe 60, maybe in the 50s. It was chilly, and then I had to get in that pool and swim and act like I was enjoying it, which I really was not. And I would say probably the hardest part of that whole getting pulled down scene is that's me fighting against myself. There was nobody else in the pool with me, dragging me down or anything like that. I had the hands kind of like this, and I just had to act like somebody was pulling me and fighting with me. And so I don't know. I hope it came off believable, but I was fighting me.
Yeah, I presume somebody was like pulling you under, and I was like, man, that's probably got to be scary to do.
I think that that was probably a really good idea on Mark's part, just to make sure that I was safe. I think his fear was that if somebody was behind me, pulling me down, that there was a potential that I'm not acting anymore.
Right.
So
And
I
then
think
them not picking up on it, and
right. So I think that was his way of making sure that I was in control the entire time.
yeah, that's good.
How many days was that movie? And for the demon scene, since that take more, I guess I know stuff is shot out of order. Did you do most of those scenes first?
I think if I remember correctly, because it's going back a few years, I think if I remember correctly, we did a lot of the non-demonic stuff first. So we did a lot of just the in the house stuff. We did that night scene where I scare my boyfriend and ultimately end up killing him, I think, on the very first night. I think I think we shot the whole movie in, I want to say, 3 days. So it was a really quick shoot, and I would say that's really Mark's specialty. He knows what he wants. He knows how to shoot it. He can get it in a few takes. And as long as you give him what he needs in those takes, he moves really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that a lot, and it's amazing how much he puts out so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's a master at what he does.
Nice. You also had to do a special voice when you was the demon. Was that kind of hard to get that voice and keep doing it?
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is about that is that Mark, I don't think Mark knew I was capable of that gravel. And so he told me early on, he was like, we'll dub a voice, so you could just say your lines and we'll put in a voice. And I thought that I was going to just put like a touch to it, and then he would enhance it. But the end product was really my voice doing all of that gravel type deep work. And I will say, probably at the end of those few days, I could feel it. I definitely felt that scratch. But I'm impressed with the fact that we didn't have to add any kind of special voice editing to what was already there.
Right, yeah, I didn't think it was. That's why I was like, man, I bet she had some rough getting to that.
Yeah.
I always think of that when doing a demon voice, just how many takes it takes just talking all and scratching your voice. And
yeah, and to get into that character too. I'm not generally kind of that nasty.
Yeah.
But I think just getting to a place where you can kind of be there. And it was fun because that shoot, I was the only female around, so it was me and just a bunch of men. And it definitely it was crass at moments. There was some very adult humor with being tied on the bed and all sorts of things. So it was an interesting shoot.
That was funny. Mahini McJohnson, he was like, "Can I get a voice sample?" I don't know if you can do it on the spot, but that was funny. So just check out the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, don't make her hurt her poor voice. Let her just watch
She
the
needs
movie.
to talk right now, so any interesting stories before we changed any movies that you remember that you can share, or bloopers, or anything fun, or...
Well, I can't not share Django, the dog. The dog did not make it in the film at all, but man, did he try. He tried his hardest. So while I was tied on the bed, he would lay on the bed with me. Every time that we would shoot, he would run in the room or make his presence known. So there was this there's this thing that now Mark and Maria Polonia will say to me, which is don't encourage bad behavior. And it was because every time Django would get in the shot, Mark would, give Django a treat and make him run out the room. And I would always say, like, you're encouraging bad behavior. And so that's just a running joke that we all have now.
Kind of like Ace Ventura. Animals can sense evil.
I take it that was their dog.
Yes.
Well, they could have made him like some sort of character, like a demon sniffing dog or something.
Should have. He really should have had his moment because he wanted it bad.
It's like, I gotta be in this movie. Come on.
Then you'd have to probably like apply for like animal things.
No animals were harmed in the making of this film.
Yeah.
You just threw up on them. There we go. Just throw up on the dog. There you go. That would have been fun. Oh. All right, go ahead.
On the IMDb listing, it lists The Hunt as a short. You're playing the same character as The Hunt as you're playing in. I can't find it in Jeff Kirkendall's movie, The Halloween Horror Tales. Is that like the short story that's in that, or is that something separate? I didn't get a chance to watch the movie, so I
Yeah, so it turned out that The Hunt was the short story that's part of Halloween Horror Tales. And we shot The Hunt, I want to say maybe 10 years ago. It's been a while. And then Jeff asked me to come back, and he kind of had a bunch of short films that he wanted to put into what I would say is probably equivalent to like Tales from the Crypt, or where, there's a bunch of just very short kind of creepy stories all being told at one time. And I actually end up narrating those stories. And that just ended up being like a secondary type role for Halloween Horror Tales.
Nice. Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, you play the same character. So I was wondering, because it was listed as its own separate thing on IMDb. It's like, I wonder if that's something different, because I haven't got a chance to watch that yet. So I was like, oh, that's curious.
I won't give it away, but yes, it all pulls together. So the narration and my story end up pulling kind of everything together at the end, which is why, one, it's two separate stories, I guess, or two separate listings for the same movie. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, we shot one first, and then we did the other one, I want to say maybe 2 years later.
Gotcha.
I did enjoy the killer flowers. That was great.
Yeah.
I've heard so much. I can't wait to watch that. I've heard so much about that, but yeah, I'll have to get to watching it.
It's just one of those things where if you like that type of, I don't want to say where it's scary, but like kind of creepy, kind of comical, it definitely falls into that type of world.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard. We had Jeff on. Was it last week or a week before? I get my time mixed up. But he was on recently and was talking about that. I was like, that short sounds really interesting.
Yeah, which I guess he said he's got plans to make it a feature length too, so that should be interesting, like a continuation of it. So, did you freeze? Oh, okay, that was weird. My computer just went weird.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time with audio. It sounds weird.
Yeah, I just had a glitch or something. That's why it probably sounds weird. I don't know.
Do I sound okay now? Issues before we started that seemed to iron out. Then I guess apparently it's like, nope, we're gonna have some more issues.
Stop it, no. Okay. I saw that they're doing, or there was a third. I watched the first Empire of the Apes. I didn't realize there's the Invasion of the Empire of Apes, where you reprise the role of Jada again. Is that out or coming out? I saw it was last year. Is it out on release now? Or
I'm not sure. I think it may be, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay. because I enjoyed the first two. They were interesting, and it was neat to see how from the first movie how you're kind of like timid and scared, and then you get into the second one where you've grown and you're more of a badass trying to take charge prior to the first movie. So
Yeah, that was a lot of fun because I was not a fan of Jada in the first film. She was a little bit too of a weakling for me. And so it was kind of nice that she had her moment to toughen up and kind of take on the bad guys. She didn't have a good ending, but at least at least she had her moment of toughening up.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was also kind of wondering. I saw that you're back in the third one. Can you reveal any way you transition into that, or is it just a flashback? Or
I'm not certain. It's one of those things where sometimes I get asked, "Are you okay to be a part of this?" And I'm like, "Sure." And Mark will use footage from other things that we've shot, and now I'm in a movie that I didn't actually have to really be a part of.
Oh, okay. What were some of your favorite moments of Empire of the Apes?
I would say the thing that was really nice about Empire of the Apes is that me and the girls really had a bonding experience on that film. Because I really think that the way that it was shot was that we were kind of separated. So like the guys who played the apes, I felt terrible for them because the opposite of when I had to be in a pool, when they had to be in ape costumes, it must have been the worst heat wave in May that we could have ever had. I want to say it was 90-degree temperatures, and they're in ape costumes for a good majority of the day, which was great for us because in those films we're very scantily clad, so it was nice to have the warm temperatures with not a lot of clothes on. But I felt bad for the guys. But I would say that was my first movie that I got to work with Mark. So it was my first Polonia movie that I got to do. So that really opened up a relationship and a friendship and a working relationship with him based off of that first Empire of the Apes film. And then just getting to the second one, getting to be the character again and revisiting her in a different way was a lot of fun.
Yeah, at first I just got introduced to Wild Eye not too long ago. At first I wasn't like an extreme fan, and then I started watching actually the ape movies. It was actually why I started to like soften up a little bit more on like the Polonia movies. I was like, I don't really like those, but then I really enjoyed those. So I was like, I'm going to take a second look and maybe I'll like them a little bit better. So I've become more of a fan than I didn't even like the banner on my YouTube. I actually sent it to Mark Polonia because it was like inspired by some of his shark movies that I created. But yeah, at first I was just like, but yeah, those movies, because I had to watch them. I think a while back we had Danielle on, and I was like, these are actually kind of fun.
They're fun. If you take them for what they are, they're meant to be campy. They're meant to be a little silly, outrageous, non-believable. And if you go in with that mentality, I think they are enjoyable. I think if you're expecting it to be, some big Hollywood, big budget film, that's not what you're going to get.
It wasn't going to be that.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just at first. But yeah, they've definitely grown on me. I've become
Like
more of a fan.
A spoof of Planet of the Apes, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely fun. So I had to mute myself again. We live right by a hospital, and the helicopter just went over a house like 50 feet. I was like shaking the house. I was like, mute.
Helicopter quake. Was it King of the Hill when Bobby was throwing the baseball, and it was like, or I forget if it was Dale or the other one. He's like, probably far off helicopters. You win, helicopter.
can literally go in the backyard and see the hospital from here. It's not that far, but yeah, we have the landing pad for Life Flight is like right across the street from us. So it's like we always have helicopters going super low over the house.
There was a couple of comments here. I'll read real quick. Hobbs,
Yeah,
I think he was talking about the Halloween Tales. It says, "Is this Halloween motion picture referring to a DVD or Blu-ray?" I guess that it is on DVD, right? The Halloween Horror Tales, yeah. And then Doomsday just said hello to you, Marie, and that's all right. That's where we left off.
That's pretty much it. But other people are just saying hi to each other, pretty much.
Hi. Hi. Howdy ho.
On BattleBots, you got to wear these funky goggle things. Were they really kind of easy to see through, or
No, not at all.
Yeah, those were probably
I
hard to
asked him
see.
the same question. I was like, was that thing easy to see through?
No, and you know what the funny thing is I have a sensitivity to metal. And they left black rings around my face. So we had to be cautious with how we shot, because if, I had to take them off, I would have, this on my face. And so I think there was a couple times where makeup had to get involved and just, cover up some of the black color tinge that I had from the glasses. And because of the little, I don't know, gears and things that were on them, Mark really wanted them like in a certain way. So one of them was like completely over my one eye. So no, I couldn't really see well. I don't think Danielle or I could see at all. I don't think Tim could see in his gas mask thing that he was wearing.
Yeah.
And I'm even wondering if that other, I don't know, dual face mask, if you could see out of that either.
Yeah, the three face.
Oh yeah, it was three faces, wasn't it?
He had one that, of course, he talked from, and then it was almost like a twin deformation or something on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Squirrel,
it was funny because we definitely were making jokes of which face to look at him in. Can you see us? Can you see us over here?
It's like where the eyes
like none of it.
Yeah, that was an interesting.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, I think it was. They called him Squirrel, I think, wasn't it?
Squirrel, yeah.
It was supposedly helping build the robots.
It's like giant, like that one punching robot game. You get to like control the little robots,
the Sock'em robots or whatever.
Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em robots. Yeah.
There's a huge robot fight.
Yeah, a couple of robot fights in there. Yeah. So, what would you say? Do you have a favorite type of drama or rewind type of movie? There, like extra, like demon slasher, any sort of genre that you're drawn to more, or you like it all?
I like film in general. I'd say I like I'm a big action movie fanatic. I like all of the car chases and things blowing up and fight scenes, and I like all of that. But I do like the slasher films. Like I actually just right before this went and just saw the new Scream. I know
I want to see that so bad. I can't wait to come out to stream it.
It was really, really good. And I think because I'm a fan of the first one and saw the first one, I really like how they incorporated old characters and new characters, and they did it in a really smart way. So I think most people will enjoy it if you like that type of movie, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know. I can't wait to see it. Our theater hardly ever plays like any of the like horror movies. It's real selective, but I'm a messed up leg, so it's not really easy for me to get out in the snow either. So I usually have to wait for the streaming.
I had to work yesterday. I could have gone with a friend. It was kind of last minute. He was like, "Oh, you want to come to the drive-in and see Scream?" I'm like, I'm at work.
Oh,
I'd love to see it. So I'll probably let's see. Doomsday said wanted to see Scream today. We had bad weather. Yep, weather's been horrible.
Yeah,
yeah, we're
had
about to get
snow.
ours. We're okay right now. It's just frigid. I think it's like a degree out. It's cold.
Sounds like you might be near me.
Florida's bipolar. It's hot, it's cold, it rains. Last week there was ice on my car in the morning. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, what is like, what's going on? I can't make up its
we
mind.
had negative wind chill because I'm in Wisconsin. So we had like negative wind chill, I think, last week. And we had a bunch of snow that wasn't in the forecast. Like last night it snowed. This morning when I took the dog out, it was snowing. But yeah, it was all sorts of fun stuff. But we don't have a lot, just like 3 or 4 inches out there. So it's nothing too bad yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a lot of snow. We're supposed to get some, I think, on Monday. But so far it's just been cold. That's all. Real cold.
Gotta go to dinner. Good stuff, guys. Keep it up. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that poor guy's name. Mick Johnson.
It's Mahini McJohnson. It's yeah, that's actually my cousin. He does some funny storytelling stuff. That's his character there. So
yeah, I just didn't want to mess it up. I'm horrible.
He like tells these stories in this high, like Jack and the Beanstalk, and they're really crazy and messed up stories, and it's funny. So, but yeah, it's Mahini McJohnson. Yeah, first time I saw that, I'm like, Mahini what? So.
You had a pretty epic death scene in Return to Splatter Farm. Was that like all like in the projection, or was it any of it like practical at all?
It was all production other than makeup. So once again, Anthony really did his thing in the makeup department on that one. Actually, one of my favorite photos I have is from just taking a picture of the skin after I'm burned. And also the one dream sequence there where I'm kind of, I don't know, dead in the oven. I'm not really sure what was happening there. But yeah, the makeup was really, really cool in that. He really did a bang up job as far as getting all of that effect in and making it look like I had been burned from a flare gun to the mouth. So really what that was is I had walked out and, Mark just tells me to take a couple steps and gives me a cue. And I'm supposed to, at that point, act as if I've been hit. And all of that stuff was added post-production.
Awesome. And it sounds like it was a good makeup job.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Like the funny part was though, is, after we were finished, there was a joke of, okay, maybe I should just go to the local gas station and, all done up like this and see if anybody reacts.
Stand there pumping gas.
I'm surprised that there's not more of like stories of like, you guys get all makeup up for like, let's say the Amityville exorcism or something, you all dressed up like that and somebody don't dare you to go to like the local like gas station or restaurant or whatever.
I would imagine probably in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, where, Mark does a lot of his work. I'm sure most people would know, oh, that's another one of Polonia's projects,
Just walking around. Hobbs wants to know thoughts on working on Scarecrow County.
Country.
That was actually a very interesting project because my work in that was recorded. I was a voice, so I didn't have to. I didn't really get the chance to meet John Dalton, who did that film. he had reached out once again, I think, to Jeff, and I got pulled in because he said he liked my work in another film that I was in. And he just asked if I would be willing to record some lines. And so I went in and I recorded some lines, and I had to do some singing, which I wasn't really thrilled with having to do. I'm not a singer. I do when I'm, not around people, but it's not something I wanted to be recorded. So, but it was fun. I liked the way it turned out, with just kind of recording lines.
Right. Have you had a favorite character yet? Or is there something that you want to play that you haven't played yet?
I like being able to have a little bit of toughness behind me. And so I would say, like, probably my favorite character was the character I played in Amityville Exorcism, just because I got to really go all out and be a little less of the ingenue. I think a lot of times I'm cast as the very sweet good girl. And it's not often that I get to play the badass or the girl that is not so sweet. So I would say probably in terms of that too, Return to Splatter Farm was really fun because I got to be a real hardcore bitch in that one. And so that was fun. I like to be able to do things like that, but every role I think has its moments where you can find pieces of it that you can relate to, that you can bring parts of yourself into, because they're multifaceted. Nobody's one way versus the other. So I think just finding those little nuances in everything is fun. And honestly, I like to work. So I'll take roles as they come.
For each character that you portray, you have a certain process when you start reading it, how you're going to get involved in this character.
Yeah, so when I first start going through the script, obviously, you don't have it in your head yet. You start going through, you try to pick out what you think the character is. And yeah, so sometimes it depends on the character, but sometimes music helps a lot. I remember with the character from Return to Splatter Farm, Nicki Minaj was my playlist during that time because I really wanted that attitude. And so I start to lean towards music that I guess would help make my character form. Whether I want it to be tough or whether I want it to be soft. And then sometimes you go in with this mentality of how you're going to play a character. And what ends up happening is you play opposite somebody else and they play the character completely different than you've envisioned their character to be. And so you have to kind of roll with what other people are giving you too. I would say that happened with Sister Krampus. Rebecca and I hadn't met each other or worked with each other prior to that project. And when we started running through lines, she was playing her character differently than how I read the script and how I envisioned her character to be. So I had to adjust my character a little bit. So, we did some practice runs with each other just because I think, I don't know about her. I don't know if it threw her off because she was so phenomenal, but I know that having that kind of preconceived way that her character was going to be almost tripped me up because when we started working and doing the dialogue, the way that I was reacting to some of the things just didn't work anymore. So.
No, I can't wait to see that. I haven't got to see that one yet either.
I watched it last
looks really good.
Finally watched it. Yes. I really liked it. I thought it was a fun one. So.
Good. I'm glad. I haven't seen it yet either. I haven't seen the full finished product. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I haven't seen the full thing yet.
Tim just sent me a message. He said that you were terrific in Sister Krampus and great with Rebecca.
Tim is a big cheerleader.
Yes,
he's great.
Yeah, we had him on a long time ago, and he still watches and messages Steve for his comments.
Yeah, no, he's I would say he's definitely a big supporter of all
Come back
people
again one of these days.
I think you glitched out a little bit, Steve.
What? Again?
I think you glitched out a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird. I don't know what's going on. What's your favorite Polonia film that you worked on? That was a question from Have Cheetah Will View.
That's tough. God, they were all fun in their own ways. I hate to keep going back to Amityville Exorcism, but that's up there for me. And that's the one that I think has gotten me the most exposure, not just within, the States, but I get a lot of messages from India. And I know that we have Empire of the Apes that was dubbed out in India. So I get messaged quite often about Amityville Exorcism, about people enjoying it. So that one's near and dear to me because I think that really allowed me to play a character that I hadn't gotten to before and really has the most, I think, following.
Mm-hmm. So Empire of the Apes, any others that are like popular in other countries besides India, or is that one probably the more?
It seems like we've got a pretty strong following in India. That's all I know. I'm not sure if there's some distribution out in Africa somewhere, but I feel like there might be because I get messages from folks in Africa as well, but I don't know.
Hey, you never know. That's
interesting to see how far it's reached out. That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about getting into the director's seat of your own and like directing your own?
That's an interesting question. It's funny because when we were doing Sister Krampus, there was some conversation that I had with Mark about possibly going that route, or even writing. I've when I was younger, I attempted to write a slasher film. I'm sure it was terrible, but the effort was there.
Yeah.
And so it would be something I would consider. I'd have to get more confidence, though. I don't know if I can do what I've watched others do. They definitely have many years experience behind them. And, I as much as I think I could do it, I don't know if I could do it as masterfully as they have shown me they can do it.
Right. And you got so many people to like kind of learn off of too. You got, Rebecca Reinhardt and Mark Polonia and all the other people that you've worked with. That's the ones I can think of off the top of my head that's directed. I know there's more, but it's just the only ones off the top of my head. You get to learn all these tricks from them. So eventually, you never know.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. I never say never on anything. Right. You never know.
You might just be happy acting. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, I mean, I love being in front of the camera, but I definitely wouldn't mind tipping my hat and doing something, behind the camera either, if I had the confidence to do it.
Right. For Sister Krampus, how did you get involved for that? And did you initially read for your character, or did you read as someone else?
That was one of those where I think just once again, having that working relationship with Mark, he had reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. And I said, absolutely. Anytime Mark asks me to be a part of something, it's usually always an immediate yes. I will make it work and I will come be a part of whatever you're doing. There's been a couple times where it hasn't worked out just because I think there was the year before he had asked me if I wanted to be a part of a project, and I was a couple weeks away from giving birth, and I was like, I don't think you want me to be there doing that. But with Sister Krampus, it was basically he had just reached out, asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and honestly, whatever part he wanted me to play, I was there and willing to do it. So I think the way that it went is he said I would be one of the sisters. He didn't even give me a character name. So when he sent me the script, I wasn't entirely sure who I was playing. But I went through and tried to memorize multiple parts just in case I was wrong of who I thought I was playing. And then the problem with that is when he said sister, we're also talking about nuns as well in that film.
Right.
So I wasn't quite sure if we're talking about a nun sister or one of the characters that was a sister.
There you go.
You gotta memorize a lot.
You memorized Jamie Morgan's lines in the beginning there, and then
I said, just in case, I want to be prepared.
I'll be any sister you want me to be.
Whoever you want me to be, I'm here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, though. All of the same cast, of course, are always in Polonia's movies. So yeah, that's pretty much just one whole big connection. And whenever he has something planned, I guess that's just how he does it. Reaches out to you guys. So
yeah, and I think that's really, really good because I've done quite a few films with Danielle, and I would say that anytime that I work opposite of her, I feel most at ease and like that it's just a conversation. We're not even acting anymore because we're that comfortable with each other. That's what's nice about working on those projects, because you do get a type of rapport. And you know how to work with the folks you're working alongside of, because it's not your first rodeo with them. So it makes it easier. Anytime that you go into a project with a stranger, you never know what you're going to get, which is fun in its own way. But it's nice when you do have that rapport to be able to work off of and know kind of how somebody's going to deliver a line. Or if I have to play a friend, somebody that I'm best friends with, it's a lot easier to have that background with somebody than somebody that you're just meeting for the first time.
Right, yeah, I've always thought about other movies, as people play friends, it's like, you just get, thrown into this, man, you just have to, instantly, automatically just act like you like this person, and you don't even know.
Yeah, and that can be tough, because if you don't connect as a person, not just, your character, but as a person, it's hard to, I think that translates. You can see the lack of chemistry, or the opposite of that, where people really do have chemistry because there is some type of connection that they were able to have with each other outside of the role.
Yeah, most definitely. Do you have any new projects that you're able to talk about?
The most recent one I did some voiceover work for it's a cartoon. I believe one of the projects is on my IMDb page. It's for In Curious Wonderment. It's a YouTube cartoon. It's about a pot smoking rabbit. It's really fun.
Are you the rabbit?
And the voices give me a chance to really not be myself. I played some of the shorts for my own family, and they didn't know that I was in it. They were like, "Why are you showing this to me?" I'm like, "That's me."
That's great.
That
I'll
must be
have to
funny.
look
Your own
that up
family
now.
doesn't even recognize you. Like, oh, this is an interesting show. Why are we watching
Yeah,
this?
why are you showing this to me?
That's great.
What's the YouTube channel? I'll have to definitely check that out.
It's in Curious Wonderment.
Okay. And Curious Wonderment. All right.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely check that out. That sounds amazing. As pot smoking bunny.
So, and what would be your favorite death scene that you've how you've died in a movie? And is there a certain way that you'd like to see yourself killed off?
What's funny is my favorite one was the Revolt of the Empire of the Apes, where I get shot and it's just kind of funny. Like
Yeah.
the way that my eyes roll back and I just kind of, that is my favorite death scene. And it's simply only because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say my stepfather really enjoys the flare gun to the face. He said that that's his favorite death scene that I've been a part of.
I think that one's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I would like. I had that one where in the hunt where I get that neck, that piece of my neck gets yanked off.
Mhm.
I would like something a little bit more gory. I'd like all the gush and the blood and the, let me spit up some blood and really sell it, like that would be fun.
That sounds amazing.
Gargle on your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim saying horror tales, The Hunt, not shabby. Not too shabby.
That was really fun. I will admit I got tackled more times. Jeff knows this. So, because Jeff kept saying, okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And Florence, who was playing the vampire who ran and tackled me, I mean, she was a good foot taller than me. And so she would run full force at me and just wail me, which was fine. I mean, it sold it, but after take after take after take, you really do start to feel it. So it got to be where she very gently cupped her hands around me as she took me down so that my landing would be a little bit softer. I was landing on a mattress, but it's still, you're getting that impact to your body.
Yeah, it's still gonna hurt. Somebody's. I haven't seen it, so I can just imagine, somebody smashing into you. That's gonna hurt, no matter how you land.
Yeah, the first couple takes, it's like, nope, brush it off, we're good, okay, let's go. But after you're doing a few of them, I was like, Jeff, how many more of these do you need for real?
At this point, he was just.
There's been 20 now. Come on. So I'm getting black and blue.
It's like almost ready to call for a stunt double after that.
Yeah, somebody else needs to take this hit. I can't do much more.
Oh. I get another message here. Let me see.
Probably Tim checking in again.
Yeah. Your franticness was spot on in that scene. This was his franticness, I guess. Fantastic franticness.
I will say there wasn't a whole lot of acting after a while because she would Florence really to make it believable. She was off in the dark. I had no idea where she was coming from. And all of a sudden, where she was coming into the light, I could hear her footsteps before I could see her. So there was an element of surprise every time because I didn't quite know where she was coming from because it was dark and she was off outside of the lighting. So it would just be like all of a sudden I hear do 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 and then bam.
It was all authentic then.
Yeah.
I guess it gets you good takes. This is what you
It did. So it was good because there was that like that element of surprise of, okay, how far away is she? Oh, she's here.
Oh my goodness. Have you any of the other movies? Did you have to get? I'll call it rough house. It's probably not the right word, but is any of the other movies? Did you have to go through a lot of rough housing with that?
No, not really. I would say probably that was the one that sticks out the most. But yeah, the rest of them, a lot of the death scenes and stuff like that were just, okay, die. You know, so.
You die now.
Yeah.
Like when you point at the dogs and stuff and they act like you point a gun at the animal, they just go fall over, just die.
That's a lot of it was. It's just like, okay, boom. Oh, okay, done.
Oh my goodness.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Boom, go ahead. I had something I was going to say and I can't remember now. I got boom distracted.
Yeah. Yeah, you got me distracted as well. Do you have any kind of like a movie that you haven't done yet that like it'd be something that you would want to do in the future? I know you say you like taking roles, but like a you know what I'm trying to say.
You know, I've done some comedy. I've done a lot of horror, sci-fi, those types of things. I'd like to try more dramatic. I think I got a little touch of it in Project Declassified, which I'm not sure if either one of you had seen, but that was really sci-fi based, but I was a grieving widow. And so I really got to tap into the emotion of, you know, experiencing my husband's death. And that was kind of a role or a place that I would like to be able to visit more often. As much as I like doing comedy or these campy type, you know, sci-fi roles, or, you know, my heart is in horror. I love shooting, you know, the death, gory, all of those types of scenes, but I would like to really try my hand at doing some dramatic acting.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, you can have a dramatic horror movie too.
You can. You really can.
Yeah.
The sci-fi movie itself, I mean, overall, it's campy, it's silly, but the bits that I got to be involved in, I really had to go to a place of grief, you know, and ultimately that I don't want to say it was fun to shoot, because going into that part of your head is not fun.
Right.
But it felt good on camera, like watching it and seeing the end product. I was really proud of the work that I did there.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. It probably helps like get some of your emotions out too. Like, so you have to kind of dig in. I probably have to like past experiences or traumas or whatever. So you kind of venting some of that out.
Yeah. And you know, at times too, it can be exhausting. I mean, yes. I remember at the end of those shoots just feeling drained. And I think a lot of it was because of going to those places that you don't really like to go to, of grief and trauma. And, you know, I mean, everybody has their share of it, but you suppress it in your day to day.
Yes, definitely.
Have you thought of doing any television at all, or would you prefer to sticking to movies?
I would love to. That's probably the one place that I haven't really gotten a chance to do anything in, because I just don't think that there's been. I've auditioned for a few things and just haven't lucked out and gotten anything out of my auditions for the television stuff that I've tried to be a part of. Probably the closest I got to that was as a very young child. I did this spot where I introduced, it was kind of like after school, they did like kids programming after school. And I got to introduce the program as part of this local, I don't know if, I don't even know how to describe him. He was just a silly character that I got to jump out of a barrel, tell a joke, and introduce the next thing. But yeah, I've done some commercial work. I've done the films. I've done voiceover work, but television is the place where I haven't gotten a chance to. And I think that that's the stuff that I enjoy the most. I don't want to discredit, the other stuff that I've been involved in, but I love TV. I grew up on TV, and so that would be fun to be able to be part of kind of that fast-paced storytelling of, a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion in a half an hour to an hour.
Right. Yeah, as fast as Mark puts out some of his movies, you're almost used to that.
Yeah.
It's like, how many movies a year does he do? I mean,
a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to sweet talk him into coming on here.
So,
haven't gotten him yet.
Well, he says eventually. So, but I mean, I understand he's so busy. So, I mean, he said that he's seen the show and it's fun. So, we'll see.
Like, yeah, he's told us both that he wants to come on, but we got to get a free minute.
I'm surprised he's
very busy, but he will be a blast. I laugh nonstop when we shoot. He's very funny for somebody that does such off the wall stuff.
Yeah,
I can imagine. You can almost you can almost tell by like some of the humor of like the movies and how like such a person's like their comedy is.
Yeah. He's a very funny person, very witty.
Yeah, it's like writing, directing, accent, edits, like crazy how much he does. Like,
yeah,
it's like, and plus, I'm sure to have a time for free life too. It's like, wow, that's just amazing.
I'm not sure he does. I don't think he has much time left over.
He just works like about 100 hours a week. That's all.
I'm not even sure he sleeps that much. I think he's just a workhorse.
He's a robot. Don't tell anyone. Oh, we'll just have to ask him all that whenever he comes on. So.
Yeah, eventually he'll be on.
Yeah.
Good.
No doubt. Yeah. So, anything else, Boom?
I think I've covered all mine.
Anything we may not know about you? Any fun, interesting facts or hobbies or stuff you like to do in your free time?
I think probably the thing that's not known about me is that I started kind of with this performing thing first with dance.
Nice.
And I'm actually a part-time dance teacher, so I have a very strong background in dance. I've been doing kind of anywhere of learning to teaching most of my life. I started when I was 2, and I went all the way studying through college, and just happened to be able in my adult life find a part-time teaching gig. So I do that on the side, and that's a lot of fun.
That sounds like it. I don't know if it's the same type of dance you teach or not, but I've always found ballroom dancing just absolutely fascinating. And I've always wanted to learn it.
Yeah. I've never learned any ballroom. And it's funny because I've done a lot of different genres of dance. I mean, I teach tap and ballet, and I studied tap, jazz, ballet, flamenco, African, hip hop. I did gymnastics for a while in there. And I think with my creative spirit, it's fun to be able to also choreograph. So with the teaching that I do, I come up with dances that the girls perform for their for their family and friends, which is a lot of fun.
I had dance in gym once, like back in high school, and we had to do that for one of our I'll call it a project, but yeah, we had little split up in little groups, and we had to like choreograph this thing. It was like the end of the semester type thing. I don't remember what we did. It was like 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
Some sort of dance, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really remember. It was like I said, it's been over 20 years. I know.
Well, that sounds a lot more interesting. We used to have to just square dance. That was all the dancing we did in gym class.
I had that too. What was ever the point of that? That was like in grade school. We had square
I don't know. I wonder if they still do it. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, my son, I don't think, had to do it. He's 17.
No.
And he never had to do it. Because I remember asking him a few times if he ever, he just looked at me like, what are you talking about?
Square dancing is an important life skill, folks.
It's a good thing we all know how to, yes.
Yes. Life or death situation. You know how to square dance? Yes, I do.
That'll be an age detector now. I was like, do you know how to square dance?
Yeah, it'll probably be the next thing that like is on TikTok that tells you that you're old.
Yes. Yeah, I don't watch that stuff, but yeah, I could see.
Or if you don't watch it, there you go. There's just, if you don't watch
it,
yeah, I don't know if I could handle TikTok. I don't know. I think I'm too old for watching stuff on TikTok.
My son got me all into it. He showed me so many different things, and then finally I just started watching stuff, and yeah, now that's our bonding time. We share funny videos with each other.
There's some funny stuff on there. There's some interesting, weird, supernatural stuff on there too, like hauntings and weird videos. And
yeah, there are. People do like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. There are some interesting things.
You could fit that in like 2 minutes or however long those.
Well, I think the longest you can go is like a minute and a half or 2 minutes videos, and then they split them up in parts. Or
yeah,
okay.
It's their way to increase people following them, so they do little bits so that you have to keep tuning in.
Gotcha.
Watch the other videos.
I was wondering, it's like, how can you make such a decent video in like 2 minutes? But I don't know. I've never watched it, so I don't know what they're like. So I'm sure they're great videos.
The animal ones are funny. There was one that these little golden retrievers were attacking this cat, and he's like, "Oh shit, they're on me!" He's like, "I call them demon fluffs," and he's like, "I survived." It was like, they were like all tackling me. He's like, "Oh shit!" Jumps over the fence, and it shows me.
I should post a video of my dog bunny hopping in the snow.
There you go. And it would probably
she's
get
a husky, but she's little, and she just like bunny hops.
Probably get 100,000 hits in a week.
You would. That would probably make you TikTok famous. You would. That would be it.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, I posted, I think it was a short or something on my YouTube of her. I was like, her name's Rogue. I was like, Rogue, you're like in your husky show or something like that. But it didn't. I think it only got like 600 views, I think. People first start watching like, that's not a husky. Well, technically she is. She's 14%.
A little bit. Just a mixture in there. You have any pets?
I don't anymore. I used to have a tiny little dog. She was a miniature pinscher Chihuahua mix. And she ended up passing a few years ago due to cancer. But when we went to get another animal, we found out that my son is like severely allergic, and it was not a good mix in our home. So unfortunately, we're pet free.
Oh no. That would be so sad, especially if he wants one. That'd be so sad.
Well, yeah, it was tough because we did end up getting the dog for him because he missed our other dog so much. That we were like, oh, well, you know, we can't not have a home without an animal in it. Like, I'm a big animal lover. Mm-hmm. So I'm very friendly with having animals in my home. It's inviting. But yeah, we got this dog and he was the cutest little puppy. But I ended up having to find a new home for him. And we found somebody that was willing to kind of keep in touch with us so that we could kind of check in on him and make sure that he was okay. But he's living a great life. He's just not with us anymore.
Right. Yeah, we got the same agreement with my cat. I got my cat a couple years ago from this lady, and she's like, I want to have your social media so I could see, pictures every now and then. I'll post a picture for him on there so she can see the pictures of him, keep track of him. But no, he's doing good. But I don't know, like different allergies, but I don't know if you know this, but like poodles and dogs that are mixed with poodles, they're usually hyper allergic. Like they're if you're allergic to like dogs, you're normally not allergic to them. I mean, you still could be, but I don't know if he's ever been checked to see if he's allergic to them. If that's ever an idea.
I think, yeah, if we had an opportunity where he could probably spend some time in somebody's home that had one
definitely.
and just see how he reacts, that would be fine. But I certainly don't want to go through getting an animal to have to only give one away,
No, I would never suggest that. But
Just
find somebody with a doodle or a poodle and but those things are so expensive. They're just
that's just
dogs.
it too. All those hyperallergenic dogs, they're very expensive.
Yeah, and people's their doodles are mixed breeds, but people's like, oh, you're gonna pay like $3,000 for it, and they try to say it's purebred. I'm like, no, they're mutts technically.
Yeah, right.
They're fun to work on too. I used to groom some of them. Especially like the golden doodles. Man, those things are huge.
Yeah, they are.
Golden retrievers.
Yeah.
I had one I had to give a mohawk to.
Remember, I haven't watched in a while that movie Best in Show, the dog show with Eugene Levy.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I've been meaning to watch that. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it.
It's a good movie.
But yeah.
Lynn Shelter. I'm probably saying that wrong, but they say hello.
Oh, yeah. Someone just came in.
Aunt. Hi.
Who was it you said?
That's my Aunt, Lynn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, Aunt Lynn. That's easier to say. I'm just horrible at saying names.
That's okay.
Yep. I got to practice with names sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how long she's been in here, but
she just popped in and said hi, so I don't know.
Yeah. So anything else? So I think that's it. I don't have any more other questions. You, Boom? I mean, it's been fun, so I don't know if you want to stick around any longer or if you want to go ahead and head out, or it's up to you.
Okay. Think I'm gonna head. I haven't had dinner yet, so I think I might go do that.
Yep, I'm gonna eat my leftover Sunnies. I had a couple of meals I ordered, so I'm gonna enjoy that. So, but thanks, it's been fun. I'm glad you came on and we got to discuss everything. So, and maybe we'll do it again sometime when you got some more projects coming out.
I hope so. I had a good time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let's see.
Enjoy your dinner. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Goes the helicopter again, but it's not so close to the house. I don't know if it's picking up on the mic or not.
I didn't hear it.
It was not like right above her house like it was her. It was literally shaking the windows. When they're going to land, they get like really super close to the house.
Gonna land on your house.
You almost feel like it's going to. When you go outside. I don't know if you can hear her.
I heard something.
Yeah, it's a helicopter. It's probably leaving the hospital. Unless you hear his phone going off, but
I hear something. It almost sounds like a running sound.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the mic picks up or not, but it's nowhere near what it was earlier. It sounded like it was having an attack or something. So I was like, oh, I'm muting. I'm not having that big distraction on there. I saw your house, and it's just a rumbling and shaking.
It's a rumbling and a shaking there. Whole lot of shaking going on.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and eat. I think that's it. Anything else interesting going on, or are you gonna go have your dinner?
I can't think of anything. I gotta make my pizza. We usually have frozen pizza when we do this, so I gotta make my pizza. I don't know if the guys already ate or not, huh?
Pizza sounds good, but I'll actually have some tomorrow. I started out. I'm gonna start tomorrow. I already did all my training. I'm working for Pizza Hut now too, besides DoorDash, and so I get a pizza on my lunch there, a little personal pan. So I think I'll enjoy that. Little
We'll
perk
get
there.
sick of pizza quick. I worked in pizza for 10 years, and I had to make all
I'll
sorts of.
enjoy it. I'll enjoy it for a while. Well, just like the movie theater, like I got all the popcorn that I wanted, and then after a while, it's like no more popcorn. I'm done. Like no more popcorn. It's all over the place. I smell like popcorn. Like no.
I know. I used to smell like pizza all the time.
That's all right. Hey, there's worse things you could smell like, you know?
True. That is true. There's definitely worse things you could smell like.
So yeah, next week we got Fedor Steer coming on next week, I believe. So he was in the new
Dr.
Shining.
Sleep.
Dr. Sleep, there we go. I'm like, speaking of Shining,
Dr. Sleep,
Dr.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yep.
That Mad Hatter movie.
The Mad
Hatter. He was in a couple episodes of The Gifted. He was in American Animals.
Was he in Burn Notice also?
Yep, he was in. Looks like one episode. Almost said 7, but it was season 7. So I'm trying to read off my notes here. He was in Sanctuary. He was in one episode of Graceland. He was in one episode of Wrecked.
Yeah, so
Gifted
was an interesting show with the mutants. Yeah, so that'll be fun to talk about. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, tune in next week for that. And if you haven't, of course, join the Facebook group, the House of Horrors podcast. We'll have all the updates on that. And then the following week after that, we got Justin. Of course, I'm going to say his last name, who was
Dennis, isn't it?
Huh?
It's Dennis, not Justin, isn't it?
No, it's Justin. Justin.
Oh, that's right. The Dennis guy's in February. I keep thinking he's the 29th. I get him mixed up. I'm sorry.
No, Dennis is February. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking he's January for some reason.
Yeah, he's going to be the first show in February.
Yeah, we'll have that the guy from Nickelodeon on the 29th.
Yeah, who did the voice of Harold on Hey Arnold. So that'll be fun. So all you Nickelodeon fans out there, spread the word. But yeah,
I know. I asked my son if he ever watched those shows, and he's like, "Not when I was a kid, but I've watched some of them recently." I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be on here."
And then Erie, Indiana, that was a fun show. So I started watching a few episodes again. And there's one that he had he's in all of them, of course, pretty much. But it was a bigger episode where this bank machine was friends with him and was giving him money and everything. So that was a fun episode.
Interesting.
You'll see it's the second. So and then they had another one. He wasn't in it. Another dimension. It was called Erie, Indiana Dimension. It was like an alternate universe with like different kids in it. And I think I only watched a couple episodes of that one. I wasn't, you know how some of the spinoffs aren't really as good as the first ones. So, but yep, that'll be fun. So on that, thanks for everyone who joined in, listen to the replay, and I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah, me too. Everybody's gonna go eat. She's gonna go eat. We're gonna go eat.
Maybe her Aunt Lynn is gonna go eat too. I was scrolling the arrow up to end broadcast, and I accidentally clicked on. I'm just clicking on highlighting. Woo! Hey everybody! Yeah, because when you highlight the comments, but
yeah,
I was going over to end. The first one popped up. So anyway, I'm gonna hit end now and go get my food.
Right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.